Hello and welcome. Welcome everyone to our last online Yin Yoga class for 2023. So just a reminder that we'll have the next 2 Tuesdays off, and then we'll be back on Tuesday the 9th of January. Okay, so let's head into our practice. We're going to start with a simple moving meditation, and we're going to work with the intention of wishing ourselves and others to be well and happy. So it's one we haven't done for a while. So just finding a comfortable sitting position. You could sit back on your heels or sit on a cushion or up on a bolster. Just make sure you can feel your sit bones nicely grounded. And now noticing the length through your spine. And let's just take one deep breath in here through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just starting by inviting yourself to settle into the practice. And for the well and happy meditation, we start with our arms at the sides. And we're going to do 4 rounds. So we bring our arms up and thinking, may I be well and happy. Bringing our hands back to our heart. Taking our arms out and thinking, may you be well and happy. Bringing our hands back to our heart and taking our arms up, thinking, may we all be well and happy. Hands to our heart. So that's 1 round. Going to do 3 more. So taking our arms up, may I be well and happy. Hands to our heart. May you be well and happy. Back to our heart. And may we all be well and happy. And finishing at our heart. 2 more rounds. May I be well and happy. Back to our heart. May you be well and happy. And to our heart. And may we all be well and happy. Back to our heart. 1 more round. Really working with this intention. May I be well and happy. To our heart. May you, so for others, be well and happy. Back to our heart. May we all be well and happy. Releasing back to our heart. And let's release our hands down. We can leave them at your heart center. And let's just sit here and observe. A really pressured time of the year. So just inviting yourself to just be how you are. There's no pressure here. You can rest as you need to. Just allowing yourself to be here, just as you are. You can notice your breath to give you a focus, to anchor yourself right here. Notice the sensation of your breath Perhaps the rise and the fall of your chest or your belly. Your movement of air at your nostrils. You notice you've got lots of thoughts, it's perfectly fine. And practice and throughout the hour, just gently guiding yourself back to your breath. Just to bring yourself back into this present moment. And now, when you're ready, just opening your eyes if you had them closed. Bring yourself back to the room. And we're going to set up for our first yin pose, which is going to be a reclined butterfly. So taking your bolster and a couple of blocks and having your bolster up one end of your mat. I'm going to set up a little ledge support with 2 blocks to rest the top end of my bolster on, so it's nice and stable. Depending on the height of your bolster at the base end, you may like to add a little bit of extra padding like a cushion or a folded blanket. And once you're set up, we're going to lie back on the bolster. So you can have your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Or for the full recline butterfly, we're bringing the soles of our feet together and our knees out to the sides. Just allow your arms to rest out to the sides, wherever it's comfortable. And let's take a deep breath in here through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just allowing the back of your body to feel the support of your bolster. And so in Yin Yoga, we're wanting to find that edge, that place where you're feeling something. So here we're particularly working our inner thighs. You may feel it through your lower back as well, or perhaps down your legs to your knees. It's feeling a bit much for your knees. You can place a couple of blocks underneath your knees as some support. If you're not feeling much in your inner thighs, you can experiment with bringing your feet closer towards your torso. This will increase the stretch in your inner thighs. Alternatively, taking them further away to decrease the sensation. Once you've found that edge here, we stay relatively still. For up to 5 minutes in most poses, but you can come out at any time. can go into a different option if you know different poses you feel like you need in your body, if you're familiar with the practice. You have the freedom to move as you need to. If you haven't already, connecting in with your breath. Just in your own time, taking a couple of deep belly breaths, so breathing into your belly, expanding your belly and releasing. Doing another one if that feels okay. Noticing if you need to make any subtle adjustments through your legs. It's important that you don't feel any pain or any sharp stabbing sensations or too much sensation. They're all signs that your body is needing a different option or needs to come out. And really tuning in to what you can feel, to your experience of the practice. And taking 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And now bring your knees back up and place your feet flat on the floor. And we're going to come up for the rebound. So if it feels okay, rolling to one side using the support of your arms. Then using your arms to bring yourself up to a sitting position. And sitting up on your cushion. Now let's take our legs out long in front and do a windshield wiper once you've come up. Just to ease out through your hips. When you're ready, you take your legs out long and sit up or lean back on your hands. And let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. That's all right. Taking a few moments to feel the rebound. Let's do one more. Deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just allowing the energy to shift, release to happen after the pose before we move on. And now releasing your hands if you were leaning back. From here, staying sitting on your cushion. And we're going to come into straddle pose. So taking our legs out wide. May need a bolster here some blocks, see how you go. Making sure your sit bones are nicely grounded, and if you have a tendency to round through your lower back, add an extra cushion to give yourself some height. And coming forward from here. So this is the full straddle pose, noticing how it feels for your hamstrings, down the back of your legs, and also for your inner thighs. And just keeping your arms nice and relaxed so you're not straining forward. You can also place a bolster out in front and rest your arms onto the bolster. Seeing how that feels with a little bit more height. Another option is to place a block on top of your bolster, and you could rest your forehead onto your block. Working with the idea in Yin that when our bones are nice and supported here, our muscles can relax, although we are working some muscles. We're primarily working the yin tissue of the body, the fascia, the web of connective tissue that runs right through our body. When we support our bones with the props, we can access this fascia. It's feeling a bit too much for your knees or your hips. You could also place a couple of blocks underneath your knees. There's lots of options for you to choose from, or you may come up with your own as well. So tuning back in and anchoring into your breath. The breath is always with us. Always available to anchor us into the present moment. Observing any thoughts as they arise, if you can. Might not be possible for all of us. And if we practice, it can be possible. Particularly noticing if you're making any judgments. And we're just observing. Making any subtle movements in the pose. So we stay for about another 30 seconds or so. Inviting your body to soften, just gradually. It's a gradual softening. Taking one more breath here in your own time. And then very slowly starting to roll up, unraveling through your spine. Just reorienting yourself once you come up, moving your props to one side. You can lean back on your hands, windshield wiper your legs if that feels right. And then taking your legs out long, or you might like to give them a little bit of a shake. And let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just really noticing any sensations in your legs here. Doing one more if it feels right. So deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. Having this sense of gradually letting go, just at your own pace. And releasing your hands now. And from here, we're going to come into some gentle neck stretches. So making sure you're sitting comfortably. I'm going to sit on my heels for this one. You can sit cross-legged. Be nice and long through your spine. And let's drop our left ear towards our left shoulder. So really feeling into this in your own way. And if you have neck issues, go very cautiously, or you might like to skip this one. And if you feel like you would like to explore, you can slowly bring your chin towards your chest. And move your neck a little bit to find any juicy spots up the right-hand side of your neck. Perhaps even into your shoulder. You can breathe in as you're doing the stretch. Breathe right into it. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back to the center. Just pause here for a moment. And going to the other side, taking your right ear towards your right shoulder. You need to feel it on the left-hand side of your neck, perhaps towards the back of your neck, on the left. Even into your head. And exploring, if you're working there, bringing your chin towards your chest, finding a nice juicy spot. Then coming back to the center. Just pausing. And from here, we're going to head into toe squat. And from there, we'll go into melting heart. So for toe squat, moving my props out of the way. Coming up onto a kneeling position, you can place some padding under your knees if you feel that you need some padding. Bending into your toes. This is the first option. Second option, a little bit deeper, is to place a couple of blocks in between your pelvis to sit on, sitting back towards your heels. Or for a deeper option, head on in if you know it, sitting right back onto your heels. For the deeper stretch into our toes, feet, ankles. Noticing the sensations in your feet. We won't be here too long. Be quite a strong one for many people, so come out at any time. Now releasing, and let's just fold down into a child's pose for a moment. The tops of your feet are on the mat. Rest your arms forward in any way that feels comfortable. Now coming back up, we're going to, from here, work into melting heart pose. So you may like to have some padding under your knees if you feel you need that. And coming into a four-pointed kneeling position. You have your knees under your hips and your wrists underneath your shoulders. And now keeping your hips above your knees, we start to walk our hands forward and dropping our belly, torso towards the mat. You can rest your forehead on the mat. You can take your arms out a little bit wider here, depending on how your shoulders feel. If you have any issues in your neck, I recommend you use some padding underneath your head, cushion. And if you experience any tingling in your hands, important to bring your arms down. Tingling is a sign you could be compressing a nerve. So you could try bending into your elbows rather than taking your forearms out long and placing your head on top of your arms. One final option, if you're feeling like you need a little bit of height, if it's too much for your lumbar spine, you can do the pose over a bolster. Settling into your melting heart. Noticing if you need to make any small adjustments. Where you're feeling it, across your shoulders or into your arms, across your chest. Working through our mid and upper back, into the neck as well. Just finding that edge. Noticing when you need to move, when the edge shifts. Using your breath to soften. Let's take 2 more breaths here, just in our own time. You've finished starting to crawl your hands back up and sit back towards your heels. Let's just give our shoulders a gentle roll. Perhaps you feel like moving your hips a little bit, just noticing what your body needs. And from here, we're going to move on, going to come into a squatting position and then into frog pose. So sitting on your cushion and bringing your feet close into your body and coming up into a squat, coming up any other way, if you can. So you can have may have your heels on the floor, or if they're off the floor, you could support them with some padding or a couple of blocks to rest on. And with our arms, can bring them in between your knees or over the top of your knees. Just noticing where you can feel it in your inner thighs. So working with the positioning of your feet and centering in with your breath. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Just a short squat today. And then releasing. And releasing your knees down. You could move your hips around a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're going to head into working a little bit deeper into our inner thighs, work into frog pose. So for frog, have some padding on either side for your knees. We're taking our knees out wide, just allowing our lower legs to rest behind us in any way. And you may like to work with a bolster as well out in front. So our knees are out wide so that we're starting to feel it in our inner thighs and coming forward on the bolster here. I will just demonstrate this side on so you can shift the positioning of your hips. So your hips may come forward or backwards, so they don't have to be positioned right in the center, depending on your body. And if you take your knees further apart, this will deepen the stretch in your inner thighs. So that's where we're wanting to feel it in frog. Or if you need to ease back, you bring them closer in towards your torso. You also work without a bolster to go a little bit deeper. You can stay on your forearms. And the final option for more of a full frog is to stretch right out. We'll be here for about another 45 seconds. It's quite a deep one, frog. Very good for opening the energy channels into our legs. Staying present with your breath. Now let's start to make our way out. Start to bring your knees back to the center. Let out a groan if you feel you need to. Do a little bit of movement through your hips here, through your pelvis. And then when you're ready, let's head down onto our backs. Once you reach the ground on your back, I'd like to either do a windshield wiper lying down or bring your knees in towards your chest and gently rock to massage out your lower back. Also circle your knees around. And then when you've finished your movement, let's take our legs out long just for a mini rest here. And taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just noticing your body weighted on the mat, grounded. And let's do one more if it feels right for you. So deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. From here, I'm going to move into a spinal twist. So if you have your preferred version of spinal twist, head on in at your own pace. Otherwise, following along. The starting by bringing your knees in towards your chest, taking your arms out to the sides at shoulder height. And strap our knees over to the right side to start with. And you may need to shuffle your hips a little bit to the left. If your knees are hovering off the ground or you feel like you need some support, place a bolster underneath your knees or some other form of padding. Make sure you're anchoring your left shoulder blade firmly down. So you can play around with the positioning of your legs here and bring your knees closer towards your torso to deepen the twist, or taking them further away from your torso to lessen the stretch. You may also like to cactus your arms by bending into your elbows. Create a nice sense of opening through the chest. For a deeper option, you could work into twisted roots. You bring your knees back to the center and cross your left knee over your right. And your left foot, if it will reach underneath your right calf, drop your knees over to the right-hand side. You can use a bolster here as well. That deepens the twist. Wherever you are working. Just having this sense of allowing your body and mind, spirit to simply be. We spend most of our lives in doing mode. We can take some space in the practice of Yin to just be. Helps us to come back into balance. Bringing your awareness to your legs. And softening through your legs. All the way down to your feet and toes. Noticing your breath. Natural rhythm of your breath. And taking 2 more breaths here in your own time. Now bringing your legs back to the center. I like to pause for a minute. And then when you're ready, taking your legs over to the left-hand side. Arms out to the sides, knees dropping over to the left, shuffling your hips to the right if need be. You can use your bolster underneath your knees. Support your legs. Grounding through your right shoulder. Moving your knees either towards your torso or further away from your torso. As far you find that nice juicy edge of the twist. That place that is just right for you. If you're working deeper into the twisted roots, bring your knees back to the center and cross your right leg over your left. In your right foot underneath your left calf, if it goes there. Dropping your knees over to the left-hand side. And still use the bolster support. Practice your arms, bending into your elbows. And using your breath. So that as you exhale, you invite this sense of softening. I'd also like to invite a sense of peace, for either just yourself, or you could include others as well, as you're resting in the pose. Energy of peace is spacious, soothing, and nourishing. Let's take 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And bringing your knees back to the center. I'd like to bring your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your knees and gently rock. Could include your head in the rocking so that you're massaging your lower back and the back of your head. And now let's prepare for our final resting pose of Shavasana. Take your legs out long and let out a final sigh or two if you like. And take your legs out long, arms down by your sides. Or you could have a bolster underneath your knees for some additional support. Or you may simply like to have your feet flat on the floor with your knees bent. Just making sure you're nice and comfortable and warm. We're going to be lying down for about 8 or 9 minutes or so. I'm going to guide you in a body awareness relaxation. And then we will rest in stillness. So if the guided practice is not for you, feel free to let my words wash over you. Start by bringing our awareness to our heels in contact with the ground. Noticing the connection of our heels and the ground. And now softening through our feet, so both feet at the same time, doing both sides. And also our ankles softening. And then noticing our heels in contact with the ground. Moving our awareness up our lower legs and softening our lower legs. Noticing the back of our calves in contact with the ground. Moving up to our knees, softening from the center of the joint out to the skin. Moving up to our thighs, noticing the backs of our thighs in contact with the ground. Softening our thighs. Shifting our awareness to our buttocks, noticing the contact point of our buttocks, contact with the ground. Softening through our buttocks, also through our pelvic bowl. Now moving to our lower back, noticing the middle of our back, through the front of your torso as well, and softening through the front. Moving up through our rib cage. Inside our rib cage. Moving up through your back. Noticing front and back of the rib cage. Now noticing our shoulder blades, contact with the ground. And let's bring our awareness back to our heart center, space in the center of our chest. And let's visualize or sense a white diamond in our heart center. This is our purity at the center of our being. A space of great love. Now leaving the diamond and our heart space, let's bring our awareness up to our shoulders, softening our shoulders. Now moving our awareness down the tops of our arms, noticing the contact points with the ground as we move down our arms, through our elbows, down our forearms, to our wrists, hands, and all the way to our fingertips. Softening and noticing parts of our arms and hands that are in contact with the ground. Bringing our awareness now up to our neck and our throat, softening the skin on your neck and throat. Up to our jaw, Now exploring our whole face, softening any areas in your face. You can notice any tension. Moving our awareness to the sides of our heads and our ears, the top of our head, softening, and finishing at the back of our head. Noticing the back of your head in contact with the ground. Now noticing your whole body. The parts of your whole body in contact with the ground. So you are grounded in your body. Just resting for a little bit longer. And now let's start to wake up. So bringing some movement to your fingers, to your toes, to your feet. Take your arms up above your head if you like. Stretch right out through your legs and your arms. And releasing and just rolling to one side and pausing for a moment. Using that support of your arms, and bring yourself back up to a comfortable sitting position. Let's bring our hands to prayer at our heart center. Bow our head towards our heart. Just taking a moment here to honor yourself, or taking some time to give yourself the nourishing practice of Yin Yoga. Also honoring that space of your heart. It's a space of great love which lies in each of us. And let's also take a moment to honor each other. Each of us who are practicing this week in the group. And lastly, let's honor our sacred earth, which we all share for our experience of life. And together, let's say namaste. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Hope the practice was beneficial in some way tonight for you. If you do have questions, please feel free to get in touch. It's been a pleasure teaching you all this year. And I wish you well for the festive season, for the new year, and look forward to seeing you in 2024. So see you on the 9th of January. Okay, bye for now.